Aloha guys, in this video I'm watching and reacting to someone talking about horror
We talked about
weapons.
horror tropes, we talked about horror subgenres. I think today it'd be pretty damn sexy to talk about horror's most iconic weapons. A slasher villain is only as effective as his tool.
So as he's talking about them, I will be ranking them from S, A, B, C, D, and F on how realistically usable they are and how intimidating they are.
Of choice, his method of murder. And so I have gathered, I think there's about 22 different characters here that I could justify calling something a signature weapon of theirs, and we're going to talk about all of them. Now, this is very important because I know a lot of you fanboys can get a little bit testy about their favorites. We are talking strictly about the weapon here. So if one of your favorite characters is lower on my list than you would appreciate, it's not necessarily a reflection on them, just a reflection on their lack of creativity with their tools of murder. Got it? Cool. And with that,
I know a lot about murder. Do not ask any questions of how I know a lot about murder.
being said, now let's talk about this tier list and the categories that we have to place all of these different weapons into. So we got 5 categories, starting at the worst category, the bottom. We have dying of boredom, weapons that certainly will kill people, but I'm not getting.
Oh, so he also has a tier list.
I'm not getting very excited about it.
Lacks the edge, ones that have a little bit more style to them, but still not really raising the bar too much. Gets the job done, ones that are solid, ones that are cool, ones that are effective, and ones that I wouldn't be ashamed carrying around for a Halloween costume. Creative carnage, starting to get the killers that actually care about style, and then flawless execution, reserved only for the most badass, iconic weapons of all time. By the way, the link to this tier list will be in the video description.
Go ahead and take a look, guys. Is Ghostface on this list? No.
Below if you would like to do your own and tag me in that.
Pennywise does not have a weapon. Billy doesn't have a weapon either.
As well, and with that said, we'll kick this bitch off, and randomly arranged by tier maker, as always, we are starting off with Leatherface himself and his signature chainsaw, hence the title.
Chainsaw Massacre? Don't know. So a chainsaw. I would give it a D tier for using the actual weapon, and I would say probably A tier for
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you know, I'm going to stick this one right in the middle in Gets the Job Done. I think this one actually perfectly represents that because it's got a little style. I certainly would not want to end up on the wrong end of that chainsaw. He looks badass carrying it, though it completes the whole iconic look of Leatherface. But at the end of the day, it's just a chainsaw. You know, there's nothing too creative about it. So we're going to stick it and Gets the Job Done because it absolutely will get the job done. Now we are on to Pinhead, and Pinhead for me is a mix between the Lament configuration and mine. He's the first one in that category. Now we have Cropsy with his gardening shears. And you know what? This one's
almost getting a F and an F.
Who's going to go into dying of boredom?
Because gardening shears don't excite me at all. Like, the way that they shoot it, in this shot specifically, right before that iconic raft scene, it looks pretty formidable. The rest of the movie, no, and let's be honest, like, that kill is awesome, that kill sequence is awesome, one of the greatest of all time, but how effective are garden shears really? Like, is it really realistic that he's just going to keep going downwards with garden shears and take out a whole raft?
Actually, for how effective they are, I'm gonna move that up to a C tier, a C plus, maybe a B tier. Because if you get that somehow get that around your prey's neck, and then you have enough strength, you can just cut right through the neck, and that's so fucking quickly.
Full of people, like at no point nobody's going to be able to knock that shit out of his hand, or he's going to slip and hit him with the dull end or something. I don't know.
Yeah, with how those fingers came off, like, in that shot, I think going for the neck would definitely, yeah, end it.
I just don't get excited by Cropsy in general, but I certainly don't get excited by Garden Shears. They tried to do something different. I think there's a reason why we only got one movie called The Burning and not a franchise called The Burning. So, moving on from that. We have the Tall Man and his Sentinel Spheres. Some people call them orbs, torrents, and his axe. And you know what? This one is also tough because an axe is a very basic.
I would do for effectiveness, A tier. Maybe B tier. For intimidation, I would have to do, C tier.
Weapon. There's not really a whole lot that's
Sexy about it. However, in execution, no pun intended, this one is
Oh, my bad.
pretty damn badass in the hands of Jack Torrance. So I'm actually going to stick it and gets the job. However, in execution, no pun intended, I think that it's pretty damn badass in the hands of Jack Torrance. So I'm actually going to stick it and get.
The one, the one thing that I think of with that is, like, Johnny from a certain horror movie. He breaks through a door and says, "Here's Johnny." That's what I think about when I heard that character's name and that he uses that axe.
Gets the job done. I don't know if I'm on an island with this, but when I think of an axe, I always think of The Shining. When I think of an axe as a weapon, no matter how.
I think The Shining is what Johnny's in.
How many horror icons have used it? Jason has used it. I think Michael Myers has used it maybe once or twice. A few of these other characters certainly probably have at one point. And yet I always go back to Jack Torrance because the way he chopped open that door, the "here's Johnny," the image of.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, that's the person that says it. If his name's Jack, why does he say "here's Johnny"?
Him carrying the axe and grunting through the hedge maze, the way that he really only used it to kill one person, Dick Halloran, and yet it's still iconic. Something badass about that, so I'm going to stick it there. I feel good about that. Now we have, I believe the character's name is Russ from Slumber Party Massacre. Now, full disclosure, I have never seen a Slumber Party Massacre film. That's a good question for the comments down below. If you know my taste, do you think I would enjoy those films, or do you think I would not get it whatsoever? Because they seem pretty silly, but nonetheless, let me know. This guy carries around a power drill. And
power drill. Wave intimidation. Be an A. How effective? It's a fucking drill. Not a chainsaw, not a saw, a drill. C tier.
While there's a certain amount of ignorance in casting some kind of an opinion on moving a character and a weapon that I have not seen aside from some clips of how it is used, I'm sticking it in Dying of Boredom because a power drill does not seem like a very effective weapon to me. Like, obviously, if you're pinned to the ground, a power drill can do a lot of damage, but in a fight, when you're surrounded by other people, it just seems like one of the most wildly ineffective things that you could be doing. Like, if somebody comes at you with a drill bit, like, it's just gonna like slip off of you. If you've ever tried to use a drill bit on a piece of wood or anything, like, you gotta have some control on that bitch. Otherwise, it's going all over the place. It's not like a sharp knife. It's not like, you know, an axe or a chainsaw where you have to be just mildly accurate. You gotta really know what the fuck you're doing to hurt somebody or kill somebody with a power drill. So, inherently, I'm sure those movies are very silly. They seem very silly, so it works in the context of the film, I'm sure. But that's not a weapon that's really getting, not really getting my my juices flowing at all. Now we have the Freddy Krueger. And look, if anybody.
For effectiveness, I would have to say, like, being biased, but also knowing how it is. So it's on your fingers, right? Keep in mind it is also on gloves. Thus, for intimidation, I would have to say S tier. Because he mainly goes after little kids going into the nightmares, killing them in nightmares and then going into real life to kill them. And also pointing the fact that the Freddy Krueger is dead. He can't really break his fingers because they can probably regenerate. I would probably have to say how effective it is, also considering that he can't die, so he can get as close as he wants. Nothing will really happen. I'd have to say 18.
He deserves to be in this category. It's Freddy Krueger because of that glove, that knived glove. I mean, that might be the most iconic horror icon weapon of all time. And I don't think that's my bias talking, because for those of you that may be watching me for the first time, I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street horror. But I don't think that's my bias talking. I think that's just objectivity. I mean, is there a signature weapon?
I really can't think of any other weapon that is really as iconic as Freddy Krueger's glove. I mean, like, Jason Voorhees' machete. Other people use machetes. Like Chucky or like Ghostface knife. Not as iconic. Chainsaw from Chainsaw Massacre. Not as iconic. Yeah.
On any of our most iconic characters that is more unique and badass and deadly and fucking cool than Freddy's glove. I don't think that there is. I really don't think that there is. It's effective. It's a part of his personality. It's an extension of his character. I mean, it's iconic in every sense of the word. So I really don't think I need to justify putting it that high. But to me, if I could only pick one weapon to go up into that category, if they only had room for one character, it would be Freddy and his glove, because the glove is just the shit. The glove plays. The glove plays. Now we have the Fisherman and his hook, and yeah, I'm dying of boredom with this one. Now, again, like, and this is probably the one character of why I had to have my little PSA at the beginning about don't get your feelings hurt, because I'm not talking about Michael. Because let's be honest, guys. Like, let's be honest, okay? Let's turn the fanboy blinders on.
This is a kitchen knife. Ooh. Knives can be pretty damn effective, though. A tier. Depending on the type of knife, it can either be a S tier for both. I'd have to do D tier for intimidation, and A tier for how effective it is.
Let's take off the rose-colored glasses. A basic kitchen knife is pretty fucking boring. So I'm going to stick it and lacks the edge, because I think that Michael brings some style to it. He certainly brings a little bit of versatility to it. We've gotten different styles of knives from Michael Myers. I just don't think for a signature weapon it's all that exciting. I really don't. So as badass as Michael is, you know, bow down to the goat. I know a lot of you guys have him at the top of the Mount Rushmore, and I get it. I just don't think the kitchen knife is all that.
I have never seen the movie Halloween. I've never seen that movie. Is it called Halloween or Trick or Treat? I don't know. I do know about that character. I know a bit about him, and his weapon is a knife.
Exciting. And it's okay, because we're going to even up the odds right now. Now we have Chucky, who also... arguably, this is not really his signature weapon, but it is the only thing that you could even argue is his weapon. Like, he only used it in the first film. It's only in the graphics and the artwork for the first film. And every movie since, he has used a bunch of different things. You could say that Charles Lee Ray's signature weapon is, you know, something to strangle people with. We don't see too much Charles Lee Ray. It's always Chucky, and he's pretty versatile with what he uses. But he does have that voodoo knife, the one from the first film. That's pretty iconic. But it's not that much better or any better at all than Michael Myers' knife, so we're going to stick it right there and lack.
It's actually worse since it's being used by a fucking doll.
It's the edge too. See, I can be fair. I got my boy right next to your boy, okay? Can we agree? Can we agree that that was fair? So yeah, just another knife. It looks a little cooler than a regular knife, but we only get to see him use it in one film, so you gotta dock it for that.
There's a show on Netflix, and it's with Chucky, and there are about 8 episodes.
So, Chucky's versatile as fuck, but as far as signature weapons, much like a signature score, he doesn't quite have that the way that the other characters do. Now we have Pennywise and his
Does he really have a weapon?
razor sharp teeth. I debated on maybe
Teeth. Let's look at those teeth. S tier for how terrifying it is, and D tier for how effective it is.
not putting this one in here, but I think it
Actually, no, he's a cosmic being that can't really be hit, so A tier.
kind of fits. Like, that's his weapon. He eats children. He bites their arms off and shit like that. And you know what? For being at least unique among this list, I'm gonna stick it and get the job done. Because yeah, those teeth are fucking things up. I mean, it's it's a bunch of teeth. And whether you're looking at the 1990 miniseries or the recent 2 films by Andy Muschietti, them teeth are doing some damage. They're definitely terrifying, and you know it's